Hi, good evening. This is Monique Fisher, and this video is being recorded for my assignment for analyzing mass media and popular culture for my sociology class. So the magazine that I chose for this assignment is Essence Magazine. I chose the February 2020 edition of Essence Magazine. Specifically, this magazine, the audience that it targets is people of color, so African American people. It is a magazine that's sold across our country. You can typically find the Essence magazine in any local grocery store, any drugstore, Barnes and Nobles. It's not specific to social class, so you will find this magazine in communities that are lower class, lower income class neighborhoods, middle income class neighborhoods, and higher income class neighborhoods. One thing that I did find particularly interesting is that I live in a predominantly white community in Riverside County, and I noticed that, and I thought it was odd that when I went to my local grocery store, this magazine was not there. I could not find an Essence magazine anywhere. I actually had to go to Barnes and Noble in order to find the magazine. So I just thought that was kind of interesting that I live in a predominantly white community and they didn't carry my Essence magazine, which is specifically for African American or people of color. So interesting. But more specifically, in terms of the characteristics of the content used in the ads for this Essence magazine, some of the things that I did notice, specifically for Pantene, they're advertising some hair products for natural hair, natural curly hair. And specifically what I noticed in terms of the characteristics of the content, if you'll see here, that they specifically use gold and purple in their advertisement. And for those who may not know, gold and purple is very symbolic in the African American culture. Purple represents like royalty and prosperity, and gold represents wealth everywhere, but specifically for African Americans represents richness, and for Africans represents richness found in their land. And it could be, as specific as, down to the the yellow diamond that was found in South Africa and mined back in 1878. So I thought it was quite interesting that they use gold and purple to really grab the attention of the audience looking at this magazine. I could tell you that if in seeing this, I want to go out and buy this Pantene product because one, I can connect to the product because they have images of African American women with hair that looks like mine, and I love the gold and the purple colors that they used to sell this product. Some other things that I noticed, that there was a lot of images of black people in every single advertisement, whether it was for hair products, whether it's for skin products, makeup, whatever it was. This entire magazine is specifically focused on African American people, and so all of the models and everyone in the book are African American. Some of the advertisements specifically that I focused on, one was the Pantene for sure. I thought that was pretty interesting. Also, here in the back of the magazine, Lancome, which way back in the day used to typically just be sold for Caucasian women. But now you can see that Lancome is really trying to target the African American community, women of color, and you can see different shades, right? Because you have one African American woman that's darker complexion, one that's a little lighter complexion, and you can see here that they're advertising that they have, multiple shades of foundations for women of color. So really trying to target our African American women to, purchase their product. And then also something else that I noticed specifically, like at this kinky curly advertisement here. And what I specifically noticed is how, other companies like Target, because they sell the Kinky Curly product, how they specifically put their logo there, paid to have their logo put there, in Whole Foods to say, hey, we carry these hair products for kinky curly hair. This magazine did also focus, a lot of the kinds of messages that I saw that were being portrayed was a lot of focus on putting yourself first as an African American woman, taking care of yourself, mind, body, and soul, how to prevent burnout. There was a lot of advertisement around empowering yourself through, uplifting your culture within your community, through education for yourself. This advertisement specifically is labeled Body and Soul. And so this one, is targeting, it has Michael J. White and his wife on there, just really advertising like body and soul, like as African American people, making sure that you're taking good care of yourself. Here's another advertisement too that I noticed is talking about, your wellness and putting yourself first, and, taking care of yourself, mind, body, and soul. In regards to the 5 sociological concepts that I identified. Number one, I identified culture, because this magazine does specifically focus on African American, people of color and our culture. Specifically, culture is defined as the entire way of life for a group of people. And how it was applied in this magazine was through the beauty, the style of dress, music, food, and I'll give and cultural norms. And so more specifically, there's advertisement in this magazine advertising Mardi Gras, because it is February. And, if you're not aware, African American people in New Orleans or in Louisiana, the state of Louisiana, celebrate every year in February. They have a big celebration called Mardi Gras, which stands for Fat Tuesday, where they eat a lot and they have a parade and in the French Quarters. And there's just a whole host of other activities that go along with Mardi Gras. There's the head dress and things like that you can see here that they really get into. So the parade has folks dressed up in these really vibrant, beautiful colors, and it's a whole weekend celebration there in New Orleans, Louisiana. So I would say that this specifically touches on culture. The other sociological concept that I noticed is agent of socialization, that they used the magazine as a mass media channel to reach a very wide audience, by which, values and norms are instilled. And for this targeted audience, this magazine will definitely have some influence on our norms and on our values and how we see ourselves. So that was something that I definitely identified as well. The third sociological concept, interacting online, because I noticed specifically Essence has always been a magazine that you can purchase, just a hard copy of. But, and it was news to my ears and to my eyes when I read it. But now you can access the Essence magazine on the go. So online on your, your cell phone or on your notepad. And so I noticed that they specifically, identify that you can now, download an electronic version of your Essence magazine. The other sociological concept that I identified is that it was symbolic, the symbolic ethnicity, which is defined as ethnic identity that is only relevant on specific occasions and does not significantly impact everyday life. And then I would, and in that regard, I go back to the advertisement in the magazine for Mardi Gras, because that is something that only happens once a year. It happens on a very specific occasion, and it's not something that impacts everyday life. And so, Essence Magazine did leverage or use symbolic ethnicity in this magazine to advertise Mardi Gras. And then the fifth sociological concept that I noticed with this magazine was that it specifically targeted a specific race, so African Americans and ethnicity. So, in this magazine, there's a lot of advertisement for like our style, African American style, how we dress. I'll give you some examples. Here's some pictures that were in the magazine that some African American models specifically, dressing a certain kind of way. Here's more pictures of style of dress. So that was something else that I noticed in the magazine. There. And here's one more for L'Oreal lipstick that they advertised in the magazine. In terms of the kinds of messages that are being portrayed about certain social groups alongside the products being sold, I just saw, a lot of advertisement alongside about how, being proud, how important it is to be proud, to be African American. There was advertisements on the side that say good vibes only. As you can see here, it says good vibes only. So those were some of the things that I noticed. There was one specifically that I noticed that said that Africans are fly, in the term fly meaning like our way of dress is very stylish. And so those were some of the kinds of messages that I saw as I was going through the magazine. So thank you so much for your time. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and we'll talk later. Bye.